Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another day in TCR South America, BRB Bank in Curvelo, the first stop in Brazil for this series in 2025 at the Circuito dos Cristais, or the Crystal Circuit, which is our venue for this weekend. We had a great qualifying session yesterday led by Thiago Pernilla, the youngster, the 22-year-old born in the United States, but representing Argentina, and now everything is set for this double header scheduled for today. We are ahead of our first race. As you can see, the aerial view, a track that has an oval track next to, or sort of an oval, of course, that reminds us to Avus, possibly the German track from the 1930s and 40s. 21 Celsius degrees, that's a really warm temperature for a race. And this is our main straight as we head into the first of the two races in a day that has brought us with some new faces joining the grid, like Celso Neto, like Fernando Croce, like Leonardo Reis, who has pole position for race 2. Also TCR Brasil kicking off their season. There's Thiago Pernilla on the front spot of the grid, starting alongside Nelson Piquet Jr. Behind them is possibly one of the candidates, Rafael Reis. In fourth place is Gennaro Rassetto, who moved a grid.
Bom dia, diretamente desse grid histórico. Daqui a pouquinho a gente vai ter a primeira largada da história da TCR Brasil e da TCR South America, Banco BRB. Lembrando que a gente inaugura a temporada 2025 da TCR Brasil. E ontem nós já tivemos o quali, um quali muito movimentado. Thiago Pernilla vai largar da pole position agora nessa corrida da manhã. Nós temos duas corridas ao longo do dia, essa de 25 minutos e a corrida da tarde, que tem 30 minutos e vai contar com a inversão dos 10 primeiros do grid. Portanto, na inversão dos 10 primeiros, quem larga na ponta pela tarde é Léo Reis. O Léo Reis, que é um estreante, ele está correndo na TCR pela primeira vez aqui em Curvelo e mostrou um ritmo de qualificação muito interessante. Ele liderou o Q1, teve um problema, cometeu um erro aí no Q2 e a gente vai conversar com ele aqui. Ele vai largar na frente na corrida da tarde por causa da inversão do grid, mas a gente quer saber, Léo, primeiro bom dia. Você teve que, o que teve que ser feito no seu carro? A gente sabe que teve que mexer um pouquinho na suspensão para a corrida de agora.
Bom, a gente tem um ritmo muito bom, a gente liderou o Q1. Infelizmente, durante o Q1 acabei cometendo um erro que prejudicou nossa performance para o Q2. A gente teve que ajustar um pouco o splitter, que fugiu a altura e etc. Mas o carro está muito bom para agora, a gente tem um carro competitivo e vamos tentar aí fazer a melhor corrida possível, e mais poupando equipamento, sabendo que a gente vai largar em primeiro na corrida 2.
Certo, muito obrigado, eu volto com vocês. Boa corrida, boa transmissão.
We have pole position, says Leonardo Reis, making his debut in the series. The youngster, 21 years old, born in Sao Paulo, has been champion of the Programm division in NASCAR Brazil. This is another youngster, 22-year-old Thiago Pernilla, born in Dallas in the United States. Back then his father, Leonel, the standings leader of this series in this year, was still active as an indoor football player. There is where he was born, Thiago. There's the one we were talking about, Leonel Pernilla, who's turning 50 years old, close to the next round.
Enzo Gianfratti, brasileiro do carro 19, Celso Neto, outro brasileiro do carro 22, e Juan Rosso.
This is the reigning champion, Pedro Cardoso. Here is Juan Angel Rosso, starting from 9th place ahead of Leonardo Reis. This boy is back on the grid. Gennaro Raceto, he missed the last round in Uruguay. And now he starts in his career highest in 4th place. In a race 1, of course, we are talking. He even started on front row or pole position in a race 2. But he set his highest qualification yesterday, finishing in 5th, but moved up through a spot since Leonel Pernilla carries a 3-place penalty on the grid. He was demoted from 3rd to 6th. In the back, in the last round in El Pinar. This is a very new track in Brazil. Was planned in 2012. This track was started to be built in 2013, and in 2016 was open to the crowd, open to the public and to the events. We are joining the very powerful Brazilian stock car series in this weekend.
Somente holder por carro. Libera grid, todos fora. Beleza, então mais para trás.
This is our grid as we are waiting for race number 1. Race 1 is about to be going in Curvelo. My name is Francisco Aure. It's a pleasure to be with you for this round. We have a car missing on the grid. I think, if I'm not wrong in my counting, in my maths. There they are, the cars heading onto the main straights.
Pedro Cardoso não sai. Vai para box o Pedro Cardoso. Já a informação que o carro 1 não vai para a volta de apresentação.
We're being noticed that Pedro Cardoso is not in the formation lap. That's what we were thinking about. It didn't look like a 15-car grid.
Então vamos lá, placa de 1 minuto. Placa de 1 minuto autorizada. Vai rodar o grid.
There are the cars set. And Thiago Pernilla will start moving. 30 seconds for the green light in the formation lap. Well, Pedro Cardoso is there on the grid, so what the track announcer said is not actually right, or that's what we heard. We are kicking off TCR Brazil season. Also, TCR South America is starting their 7th event. Let's have a look at the starting grid. As we said, Thiago Pernia from Honda YPF Racing leading the 1-2 for the team. He's starting in first place ahead of Nelson Piquet Jr. on car 33, the 2 Honda Civics. Rafael Reis takes third on the grid for W2 Pro GP. Fourth place for Gennaro Rasetto, who, as we said, moved up 1 place, considering the penalty for the one who started in 6th, Leonel Pernia. Ahead of him is in 5th place Fabian Gianantoni, followed by Leonel Pernia. Then back in 7th place, we have Mariano Pernia with another Honda from Honda YPF Racing. Followed in 8th place by Pedro Cardoso, the reigning champion of the series. Closing row number 4. Row 5th for Juan Angel Rosso. In 9th place with the Lincoln Co. of Palladini Racing. Behind him is the rookie Leonardo Reis, the 21-year-old, making his debut with pole position for race number 2. Followed by Enzo Gianfratti, who narrowly missed Q2, the reverse grid pole, for G Racing Motorsport, a new team. Welcome, G Racing Motorsport, to the series. Celso Neto, another debutant, in 12th place, ahead of Adrian Chiriano in 13th place. Followed by Maria Nienkotter in 14th place, closing row number 7. And in 15th, another of the newcomers, Fernando Croce for PMO Racing in 15th. As we said, Pedro Cardoso, yeah, there he is, with some kind of trouble. That's really big, eye-catching for the title battle. Some trouble that began yesterday for Cardoso. Thiago Pernia is there. Here we are in this race number 1 about to kick off. Now everything is getting ready. Everything is getting ready for race number 1. Green flag waving in the background. There is Thiago Pernia in first. I think there was some wave. Yeah, Fabian Gianantoni opened his door. Oh, the race started anyway. That's not good to see. Gianantoni's waving. Oh, just missed in the background as Thiago Pernia was taking the lead. Rafael Reis jumps into 2nd place ahead of Piquet Jr. That was very dangerous, very, very dangerous. Or Fabian Gianantoni took a little bit long, or the stewards didn't react on time, as now there is the traffic going through turn 1, 2, and 3. There is the Curva Ferradura. And now it's all up to Rafael Reis, now in 2nd place ahead of Nelson Piquet Jr. Pernia already in 4th place. Leonel Pernia, he must take the advantage of Pedro Cardoso not taking part in the race after he pulled into the garage with the car from PMO Racing. Comfortable advantage initially for Thiago Pernia. There is Fabian Gianantoni, who must be really upset with the frustration in here. There they are completing a lap. Pernilla, Piquet's race. Lionel Pernilla in 4th position, followed by Raseto. Rosso back in 6th. Mariano Pernilla in 7th. Enzo Gianfratti moved up to the TCR Trophy lead. Ahead of Ciriano, in the middle of both is Celso Neto. Leonardo Reis back in 11th. Mariano in Cotter and Fernando Croce, as we had 2 cars already pulled away from the race. There's Thiago Pernilla, followed by Reis, as they are taking the Retinha do Ansol, and now they turn Ansol. This is the Cauda do Onça, downhill, heading to the north curve, or Curva Norte in Portuguese. There's Rafael Reis holding 2nd position from Nelson Piquet Jr. Reis a bit wide, and that must give a chance to Piquet, but it wasn't the case. Anyway, this is now turn. Victory turn, the Curva da Vittoria. They are completing one more lap. Pernilla, Reis, and Piquet Jr. in the top 3, untouched from the start of the race. This is Thiago Pernilla leading, and here is Rafael Reis in 2nd place. 25 minutes plus 1 lap. They are now on the way to lap number 3. Here is Pernilla getting into the Ferradura turn that will take us to the back straights. The Retinha do Ansol is where the cars are here. And now taking a long turn to the right side, then the downhill, very nice track with loads of ups and downs throughout the extension. This is not the full layout of Curvelo, but certainly one of the good ones. We are located in Curvelo in Minas Gerais. One of the first tracks in Minas Gerais. 150 kilometers to the north of the capital, Belo Horizonte. As Pernilla seems to be opening and looking for different lines. Thiago Pernilla leading, but the race certainly does not release him from any pressure. There's only a big gap from 7th to 8th from Pernilla. Mariano Pernilla to Enzo Gianfratti. TCR Brasil is also having the same standings in the podium as we have the full grid, except Gennaro Raseto, Lionel and Mariano Pernilla, the only 3 drivers on the grid that did not take part in TCR Brasil standings. So as far as now, we have the same podium in both series. Remaining, 5 minutes have passed. Thiago Pernilla leading the race ahead of Rafael Reis. Piquet Jr. still ahead of Lionel Pernilla. No team orders as far as now. Of course, Thiago Pernilla completely on his own, but Rafael Reis is the only one blocking the 1, 2, 3 for Honda YPF Racing. Raseto still in 5th place, but certainly a bit back in the order. Slight gap between Pernilla to Raseto from 4th to 5th. And here is Rafael Reis putting the pressure on Thiago Pernilla. Just less than 0.2 of a second of gap between 1st and 2nd place. This is not over yet. Of course, we have 19 minutes ahead and we still have a long way to go, as Reis seems to have a little bit of top speed advantage over Pernilla, but that's how it looks on screen also. We must take in care the compensation weights that sometimes plays a part in this. Mariano and Cotter on the garage. Got 12 cars on track now. Rafael Reis with 30 kilos of compensation weight is still lapping slightly quicker than Thiago Pernia, who has no compensation weight. We had 40 kilos for Cardoso, 30 for Reis, Nelson Piquet Jr. and Pernia, Lionel Pernia, 20 for Juan Angel Rosso and 10 for Fabian Gianantuoni, who didn't start the race. His car stalled on the grid. That's all the pressure on Thiago Pernia. 0.2 of a second only from Rafael Reis to the lead, and this is the replay between Celso Neto and Leonardo Reis. He overtaken the two newcomers into the series. Celso Neto taking one of the Audis that Palladini Racing had available. There is the fourth one, the fourth car, the fourth unit on the team. Ahead of Rafael Reis, jumping into the last part of the track, sector 3. Car's pace is increasing, so might be a demanding track for the tires. Look at Leonel Pernia trying to cool a bit his car. It's 9:53 in the morning now. Leonardo Reis here overtaking Enzo Gianfrati in 7th. As we said, Mariano Pernia dropped a few places, I think. He had to go into the pits. There's Enzo Gianfrati leading TCR Trophy from 8th place on the overall standings. There's Mariano Pernia back on track. He dropped back to 12th and last place. He's still running. Here is Thiago Pernia's gap to Rafael Reis. They are now completing 7th lap. We'll have a look at the lap times as soon as they go through the finish line. .4 of a second. 125.35 to 125.56 from Pernia to Reis. But Piquet Jr. scored exactly the same lap time in the last lap, lap number 7, as we cross the 10-minute mark in Curvelo here. There are the cars heading into the last sector. Mariana Encotter back on track, overtook by Fernando Croce, but Encotter is 4 laps down, so she's only out there to keep on running and score points for TCR Trophy, just in case she still can be classified.
TCR South America e TCR Brasil.
Mariano Pernia back in the garage. This is not looking well for him. Thiago Pernilla has set the quickest lap time of 1:24.986, as you could read on screen. Just 0.3 of a second separating from Rafael Reis. 8 laps completed. Thiago Pernilla still holding the advantage to Rafael Reis and to Nelson Piquet Jr. Leonel Pernilla in 4th. In 5th, Gennaro Rasetto with one of his career best finishes in the series. With Rafael Reis into it, getting a good results. As far as now, another podium for him. Here come all the cars in the last turn of the Curva da Vittoria, as it's over for Mariano Pernilla. And I think we have a safety car. Yeah, Marian and Kotter stopped on track. Green flags waving. Well, no safety car yet, but yellow flags, and Rafael Reis is now heading into the lead, battling with Thiago Pernilla. They collide, and Pernilla remains at the lead. Look at the crowd going wild, and Nelson Piquet Jr. takes first place, taking the double advantage. Great move. Very, very smart from Nelson Piquet Jr. as Pernilla wants to recover the lead. Reis seems to be with a bit of harm in his car, and now Nelson Piquet Jr. is battling for the victory in Curvelo behind of Thiago Pernilla. Reis remains in 3rd. Behind him is Leonel Pernilla, and behind is Rasetto, and behind is joining Juan Angel Rosso from 6th place. But now a big hit on the table with the attempt by Rafael Reis, and now Nelson Piquet Jr. seems to be a bit more in shape in this part of the lap, as they will be heading into the last turn. Let's have a look at the replay. Reis was right on Thiago Pernilla, but he had to be careful with the yellow flag zone, and here it is. Pernilla had to cut through the gravel, and there was Nelson Piquet Jr. trying not to leave Pernilla out of track, and then having to give up a bit. That was a very, very tight move, but just within the rules, as Thiago Pernilla is back in the lead of the race after that scary moment with Nelson Piquet Jr. Now Rafael Reis is back in 3rd place. The rest is just untouched, but if Reis is in good shape, he will have another go. And there is Leonel Pernilla also attacking Reis for 3rd place. It was a nice action in Curvelo. Very, very nice. Thiago Pernilla is there, leading. Marianne Kotter has pulled out of her car. I wonder if this could bring a safety car, because it doesn't seem to be so far away from the track. Thiago Pernilla seems to be reestablishing his pace. There's Thiago Pernilla ahead of Nelson Piquet Jr. Rafael Reis remains in 3rd, and look how Rosso is now closing down on Gennaro Rasetto to chase him for 5th position. The Peugeot holding back the Lincoln Co. Here is the comparison between Thiago Pernilla and Nelson Piquet Jr. Piquet seems to have a little bit more of pace. 8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Thiago Pernilla, Nelson Piquet Jr. and Rafael Reis leading the race in the top 3, untouched since that overtaking maneuver. As we are in the last 8 minutes of the race, very little action so far. Chasing Rasetto for 5th place once again. It was a nice move by Nelson Piquet Jr. to jump into 2nd place, almost getting the lead. This is Pernilla now heading into the turn 16, and now the Curva da Vittoria. It's not exactly 16 turns in this layout, but that's how the track given the name. Lionel Pernilla still trying to cool in a bit his car. Juan Angel Rosso here very close to the wall. Look at this, jumping over the curves. When you need to overtake a driver, you must take these risks. There's Nelson Piquet Jr. as you have the aerial view of the Alça do Stock. That sequence of corners early on the lap, right after the Ray curve, which is the second one. Diego Pernilla now heading into the downhill, the Ansa downhill, Once downhill. This is the north curve. And then we go to the twin corners. Gemea 1 and 2. Twin turns as it's called, and now the Curva da Vittoria. 105 points from Lionel Pernilla to Nelson Piquet Jr. Cardoso quite out of contention after he failed to take part. Last 5 minutes of the race, and look at Lionel Pernilla once again. Might have some cooling issues or temperature issues. This is Thiago Pernilla ahead of Nelson Piquet Jr. And Pernilla taking the lead of TCR Brasil Championship. Might be helpful for him to start contending for the title. Four minutes remaining. We have 11 cars on track. Pernilla, Thiago Pernilla, Piquet Jr., Reis. In the podium, Lionel Pernilla, Rasetto, Rosso, Leonardo Reis, Gianfrati, Neto, Ciriano and Croce. The 11 runners. As here's Leonardo Reis chasing Juan Angel Rosso for 6th position. The 21-year-old, the young brother of Rafael Reis. It's now Another lap completed for Thiago Pernia. They are 15 now. Nelson Piquet Jr. trying different lines, but possibly the order is not to do any mess between teammates as Rafael Reis is there. Piquet Jr. trying to close the gap and try an overtaking attempt on Thiago Pernia. 2 minutes remaining. They are finishing another lap. Lap 16 will be completed. And we'll head into the last part of the race. We should have 3 laps remaining from now on. Look at Lionel Pernia once again having some cooling issues, I'm sure, as he is opening on the main straights every lap. There's Nelson Piquet Jr. also. Piquet's still trying to attempt to move on Thiago Pernia, but he doesn't have the last attempts or the last margin to try a shot at the lead of the race. Thiago Pernia has led almost every single meter of the race, except for that moment when Rafael Reis went for the lead and failed. Last 20 seconds of the race. We are in the final 2 laps in Curvelo. Race number 1 is about to come to an end. We'll have to know what happened to Fabian Gianantoni and Pedro Cardoso as the clock is now ticking down to 0. We are in the second last lap of the race. Thiago Pernia had him comfortable. Was not so under big pressure from Piquet, who was right behind him, but didn't try too many overtaking attempts. As Leonardo Reis is here over Rosso for 7th place. For 6th and 7th. Ahead of them is Raceto in 5th. Gianfrati in 8th. Neto in 9th, and Chiriano ahead of Fernando Croce, who is in TCR Trophy podium also, with Maria Ninkotter out of contention. Last lap for Thiago Pernia, the 22-year-old, born in the United States. Sebastián Martino speaking with his team owner and director. Thiago Pernia is once again on the way to the victory, the youngster. After making his debut by the end of 2024. Now having a go at the win in Curvelo. Last turns for the youngster. And here is the checker flag for Thiago Pernilla, who will win the race in Curvelo. Great victory for Thiago Pernilla, celebrating the win. First podium, first win for the youngster who scored his first pole position yesterday. Excellent performance. A car that certainly delivered today. And Thiago Pernilla is our new winner in the series. Here is our winner, Thiago Pernilla, born in the United States, celebrating. Turning 22 next September, in just a month. Here's the final standings. Thiago Pernilla has won the race, followed by Nelson Piquet Jr. and Rafael Reis. That's exactly the podium for TCR Brasil 2. Lionel Pernilla and Gennaro Rassetto finished 4th and 5th ahead of Juan Angel Rosso, Leonardo Reis, Enzo Gianfrati, Celso Neto and Adrian Chiriano. Gianfrati winning TCR trophy. Fernando Croce wraps up the final standings. Mariano Pernilla and Marian Nincota retired from the race. Fabian Gianantoni stopped on the grid, and Pedro Cardoso didn't even start the race.
Vai lá, Matta, pode passar, mano. Quer chegar mais?
Bien, pa, bien.
Here is the crew of TCR South America's ruling team this year, Honda YPF Racing. Thiago Pernilla celebrating his first win. Mariano Pernilla celebrating with him. First win in the series for Thiago Pernilla. Just Piquet congratulating him. Rafael Reis also doing so.
Vamos! Muito bem.
Our winner of the race, Thiago Pernilla. Here is our cooling down room for the drivers. There is Nelson Piquet Jr. Today is the anniversary of his father. Nelson Piquet Sr. celebrates his 73rd birthday today.
Enzo Gianfratti, parabéns pela vitória, né? Tanto na Trophy do Brasil quanto na South America, a sua quinta, mas a primeira com a equipe nova. As suas palavras aí sobre essa conquista.
Estou muito feliz. Primeira vitória com um carro novo e com a equipe nova. A gente vem fazendo um trabalho duro desde o começo do final de semana, então agora apareceu o trabalho duro. Estou muito feliz com a vitória. Uma corrida muito legal, uma largada muito bacana. Apesar de eu não saber largar tão bem com o Cupra como eu largava com o Honda, mas foi legal.
Parabéns, e agora vamos falar com o Thiago Pernilla, que já está aqui. Thiago Pernilla, felicitaciones por la primera victoria en TCR y ahora es el primer ganador de la TCR en Curvelo. ¿Cómo te sientes?
TCR South America en Curvelo. Hablábamos ayer que íbamos en busca de esta victoria después de una buenísima clasificación. Lo principal de todo, una muy buena largada y después el auto respondió muy bien. Rafa venía muy rápido primero y después queda segundo Nelsinho y venía muy rápido también. Así que eso la hace más linda todavía, saber que peleamos muchísimo contra grandísimos pilotos y ser el primer ganador en la historia del TCR acá en Curvelo es muy lindo.
Muchas gracias, felicitaciones y nos vemos então na corrida da tarde.
Gracias.
Continua reclamando de Honda. Essa eu perdi a primeira corrida, cara.
There's Federico Punteri, the series promoter.
Foi rápido de novo, hein? O Pará não respeitou o procedimento.
O que acontece lá?
There is Thiago Pernilla. These are the two podiums.
Você viu? Você largou e começou a fazer aqui, ó. É potência, cara.
Thiago Pernilla.
Pulou igual até.
Não, ontem a gente
Nelson Piquet Jr. and Rafael Reis. Then it is a trophy you see in the very left. Enzo Gianfratti, who just spoke, on the background taking off the cap, Adrian Chiriano. And the white cap facing backwards in the long hair, Fernando Croce.
A porção que dá que vocês andam mais duro, a linha são muito boa. Trecho 1, aquela. Cara, a linha, se eu não preparar bem aqui, não faz.
Anunciamos esse momento. TCR South America e TCR Brasil. Inicialmente, a premiação TCR South America, corrida 1. Ao pódio, chamamos terceiro colocado, Rafael Reis.
Now it's time for the podium. Rafael Reis takes third place in the podium. Nelson Piquet Jr. The representative of Honda YPF Racing, the winning team. And the winner of the race is Thiago Pernilla. Celebrating the victory.
Todos se preparando para o hino da Argentina.
And now the Argentinian anthem playing in Brazil.
Aos pilotos e o hino da Argentina, convidamos João Eduardo, gerente de patrocínio do BRB, para entregar ao terceiro colocado. Aplausos para o brasileiro Rafael Reis.
João Eduardo from BRB Bank hands the trophies.
Ao segundo colocado, outro brasileiro, Nelsinho
Another Brazilian in second, Nelson Piquet Jr.
É hora de premiar a melhor equipe, Honda YPF Racing. E agora, a premiar o vencedor da corrida.
And now the trophy for the race winner, Thiago Pernilla.
Por favor, pilotos, fiquem em suas posições, porque nós vamos premiar agora a TCR Brasil, corrida 1. A mesma posição para a TCR Brasil, corrida 1. Convidamos Maurício Slaviero.
Now Mauricio Slaviero, promoter in Brazil for TCR Brasil's trophies.
Também ao segundo colocado, Nelsinho Piquet. E agora, Maurício Slaviero entrega para a melhor equipe, Honda YPF Racing. E ao vencedor da
Trophies
corrida
resemble to the
também,
World Cup Club World Cup trophy,
Brasil,
and handed to Thiago Pernilla.
Exibam seus troféus.
Raise your trophies.
Agora sim, exibam os troféus para a foto de pódio. Recebam o aplauso do público. E agora sim, podemos o banho da champanhe, com fraternização no pódio e o banho gostoso do champanhe no pódio.
There are the helmets. Rafael Reis and Fernando Croce.
Muito bem,
Very nice work. Very nice artistic work.
Agora a TCR South America, categoria.
And now time for TCR Trophy podium.
Anunciamos agora o segundo colocado, Adrian Thiago.
Fernando Croce in third, Adrian Chiriano in second.
Vencedor da trophy, o brasileiro Enzo Gianfratti.
And Enzo Gianfratti, our winner for TCR Trophy.
TCR South-America Trophy. Nós vamos convidar o Demerson Vieira, gerente comercial da Demicon. Em instantes, ele fará e será o portador dos troféus da Trophy. O Demerson Vieira fará a entrega desta premiação da TCR Trophy. Obrigado, Demerson. Aí está, terceiro colocado, Fernando Crossi. Segundo colocado, o argentino Adrian Chiriano.
There's Adrian Chiriano receiving his trophy.
E o primeiro colocado, piloto Enzo Gianfratti. E agora, parabéns, podem colocar os troféus aqui, porque nós vamos premiar agora a Copa Trophy Corrida 1 TCR Brasil. Anunciamos Renato Santos, gerente comercial da Hankook.
Now it's time for TCR Trophy podium for TCR Brasil.
TCR Brasil, terceiro colocado, Fernando Crossi.
There's Fernando Croce receiving the trophy for third place.
Adrian Cipriano. Adrian Cipriano recebe de
Renato Santos, commercial manager from Hankook,
E o
has
vencedor
the
da
trophies.
corrida, Enzo Gianfratti. Aí está. Exibam seus troféus.
And that was all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us. We catch up in 4 hours for race number 2.
Vamos lá.
Oi!
Vamos! Manda um aqui, ó. Aqui, ó. Aí.
Via!